Welcome back to the ZLGR25 YouTube channel. I'm your host G, and welcome back to Minecraft. It's been a while. Now, in the last episode, I showed you guys how to build a monster XP farm. And so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. I'll link it up at the top and in the description. 2 episodes ago, I said I wanted to make a lot of changes to my house, right? And I have been working on those changes. Now, you see, that episode was recorded in like November, I think, or December, I can't remember. It is May now, like 5 or 6 months later. I've been playing the game on and off. It's not completely done, but it is almost done. So hopefully, in this episode, by the end of this episode, you guys will see exactly what I have done. Now, before we go on with today's episode, I would like to tell you to consider subscribing. By the way, did you guys know that 98% of you aren't subscribed? What are you doing? Go subscribe now. And also, I would like to dedicate this segment to jokes and shouting out a song of the day. To start with a joke, I thought it might be convenient to include something about myself, the Hulk, right? So the actor who plays the Hulk in the MCU, you know what you call him when he gets angry? Mark Ruffalo. It's a bad joke, but yeah. I usually do dark jokes, and yeah, I kind of ran out of them. So if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments, and you will be shouted out. If I find your comment funny, if I see it, like it, whatever. And today's song of the day. Now, I need to tell you something about myself. I am very passionate about music. And so I'm a metalhead. You might not like metal music. So every episode, or almost every episode, I'm gonna try and shout out a song suggestion. Today's song suggestion is My Own Summer by Deftones. So if you really hate metal and songs that have screaming in them, avoid this one. It is really aggressive, but if you are a metalhead and you're looking for something to listen to while you're angry, this one hits you right in the feels. Okay, on with the episode. Now, I thought to myself something. So, not in the last episode, 2 episodes ago, I told you guys I was gonna try and make at least one Minecraft episode a month. Now, that didn't really work out for me very well. I thought to myself, oh, maybe I'm gonna finish one project each episode, right? Well, yeah, this one project is way too big and way too ambitious for me to finish in one episode. So I made a little bit of change of plans. Also, the Minecraft episodes are a lot smaller in size in comparison to the ones that I record on my PC. So yeah, sorry for the lack of Days Gone content, but the next 4 episodes of Days Gone are fully edited, and unfortunately, due to my internet speed, I can't upload them. But hopefully soon I'm upgrading my internet, so you guys will see them eventually. But bear with me, right now I can upload Minecraft. And you see, there's usually this saying that you should work hard in silence, right? And you should let the success make the noise, right? So I don't think this applies to Minecraft on YouTube. I think you guys have to see the hard work, especially coming from me. I'm not a hermit. I'm a normal guy. I have a job. I go to college, I'm busy. I don't always have time for Minecraft, so I'm gonna try and dedicate a little bit of time every week, one episode a week, and hopefully you guys will see it. So, and we'll do even the tiniest bit of progress and I'm dedicating today's episode to showing you the full progress of my house over the last 3 years, almost 3 years maybe. So, yeah, before I show you the big reveal at the end of the episode, here we go. Let's start with where we began like 3 years ago. Okay, so here we are in my creative test world, and we are standing in front of something that I recreated from memory. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story. I used to have a creative world. When I first got Minecraft, I was playing on the beta version. Then I kind of left the beta version. I had a survival world. I was kind of sad to lose it. It was like a month old. Nothing too serious, but I was building it. It was great and everything. And so kind of got mad a little bit. I was like, you know what? I don't want to play survival anymore. So I made a creative world. On that world, I started to test my building skills. Unfortunately, that creative world doesn't really exist anymore, but I have a few screenshots from that world. You guys will see them throughout this episode. But there does not exist one of this house. Actually, I'm gonna correct myself on that one. Apparently, there's only 2 screenshots of this creative world that I'm talking about. You're looking at one of them right now. As you can see, this was my first custom tree. It's a really bad tree, but even though the house that I'm showing you isn't in a picture, it is in this picture. If you look towards the left, you'll see some azalea leaves and the roof of this building. I forgot to show you the chimney on the roof. If you notice, when I enter this house, there is a furnace that's kind of connected to the roof. I should have showed you guys the back end. But yeah, that's basically it. The other screenshot you will see right after I finish this clip. It is of the second iteration of this house. So yeah, you see, one day I built this house in that creative world, and then I was like, you know what? I'm a survival. I want to play survival, and this seems like a simple enough house to build. So I created the world that you guys see today on my channel, the Bannerverse. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play this world temporarily, and then I'm gonna delete it later on, and I'm never gonna stick to it, whatever. And I'm gonna make one like after 1.18 comes out. But then I started to play the game more and more, and I grew attached to the world, and well, here we are now. So I built this thing in one day on that world. Now keep in mind, this is not 100% accurate. So let's just start looking around. As you can see, my building skills were really bad back then. This no depth. I believe even the doors were actually not pushed back. I may have even used glass, regular glass instead of the glass panes. I don't remember, but I do remember using white stained glass for some reason. The lantern's not very accurate. This, if I'm building this today, I would make this out of spruce, this part here. And yeah, so path, just simple, wheat farm outside. This isn't like 100% to spec, keep that in mind. I don't remember having a bell outside, but yeah, the inside also not accurate. This is partly what I remember. What I remember actually is a lot of storage. The staircase is not exactly probably not in the same position, or maybe it is, I don't know. But yeah, I remember having 2 doors. These were not next to each other, not that I remember. And if you know, in my world, if you've seen the world tour, I showed my mending villager. His name is, what was it? Joss Merlin, yeah. I captured him in a boat because he wandered into this house. And I pulled him inside, and he spent a lot of time inside this house as a zombie before I got hold of potions of weakness and cured him. Now apparently Potions of weakness don't require nether wart. I did not know that at the time, and I took way too long just to find another fortress and get nether wart. But yeah, I had an upstairs and a lot of storage. This is not like exactly the same as it is. I don't even remember if I even had dormer windows on this or not, because a part of me wants to remember having one on each side. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it was something like this, very small, and then, you know, wheat. And then if we go down here, I had like, in my creative world, I remember building an enchantment room down here with like the ladder being on the side. I even built in the creative world a bunch of amethyst on the ground with like carpet on top of it so that it blends in, and when you walk it made magical noises. I don't remember if I did that, but yeah, I don't remember at all whether I did that or not. The enchantment table, I don't remember when I made it. So now I think it's a good time to move over to the next iteration of the house. Okay, so this is the other screenshot that I was talking about from that creative world. This is the second iteration of the house. Although I think I did not do that weird block palette with the stone. I was experimenting with a lot of block palettes. I ended up, after building this, being not satisfied with the block palette. Then I looked up a video, and then I think the part where there is spruce stairs became stone brick stairs. The bottom half of the tower became andesite, I think, and then the stone brick part in the front became dark oak, and then the main roof became spruce. No, I think it was the other way around. I did improve it, and yeah, I added the tower. As you can see, I looked up a tutorial on how to do tower tops. That's coming in a future episode. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that next episode. Yeah, next episode. So, this is the second iteration of the house. Now let's move on to the third iteration of this house. Before I move on, let me show you the back end of this house. I said there was a chimney. I put the chimney here. I guess it was in a different location in the creative test world, because the chimney seems to be like more forward here. Like that photo of the tree was kind of shot from this angle, I think. Yeah. So now let's move on to the third iteration of the house. As you can see, this is my berry farm and my storage building, and a really ugly building because I used to be terrible at block palettes. This is the recreation of the second floor of the house that I had in my beta world. So yeah, I think I'm gonna rebuild the whole thing at some point, because it was a really cool house. I had like a trench around it, and then there was like 3 rows of sweet berry bushes, and then there was a wall. It was kind of nice. But let's ignore all of the builds. I build random shit all the time. You don't have to know about everything, but this right here, this is the third iteration of the house. As you can see, I changed the roof over here. I think I made this wall wider, and then I added this side piece. When I built it in survival world, this was different. This was the same level for some reason. I think this part of the roof became taller. I forgot how I did that. And as you can see, I also have a chimney here. Yeah, and let's take a look inside. So the inside, yeah, I don't know why I insisted on smooth stone, but it doesn't look very good. I should have had a dark floor, lighter ceiling, you know, that type of deal. I remember I had all my storage in here, and then I think I had the enchantment table in here. This was me experimenting in creative mode with what I could have done with the interior. This is a campfire that's unlit with a bunch of potatoes. It just looks like food storage. I wanted to make like the kitchen here or something. I don't remember my mindset. And I wanted this to be like the storage room, And this is where that library idea comes from. So the tower is actually made in a perfect dimension for the enchantment setup, like 3 rows here, 3 rows here, and then 3 rows here. And yeah, and then I had like the smithing table, the grindstone, and the anvil. And then at some point I made the tower, the staircase. I think this is the case up here. Yeah, there was a ladder here that I destroyed. And this used to be my bedroom. I used to hang all of these around because I used to kill a lot of villager patrols. And yeah, as you can see, I made the bottom out of andesite, and then like I made a gradient to the top, and then this was the the dark oak was the roof, and then this part was the spruce. And I believe when I built this in survival, instead of having these 2 windows, I made a big window in the middle, I think. And I had more storage on this floor, obviously not translated into creative mode because, well, it's storage. Yeah. So this is the second iteration of the house. Now I think I can move on to the no wait, this is the third, and we can move on to the fourth. And as you can see, this is yeah, this is the bottom. I made cobblestone, and then I made these. I'm kind of proud of these. And this was kind of a weird decision because there isn't stone wall, there's just stone bricks. I think I changed that to cobblestone at some point, and I made the cobblestone a little bit higher. So yeah, and again, the tower was way too tall. I think the general rule of thumb for any tower on a build is that the very peak of the tower should be only 2 blocks higher from the peak of the roof. So yeah, kind of like I did with the chimney. Okay, so before we move on, this right here is a screenshot of the third iteration of the house built inside my survival world. That is my horse. I believe I named this horse Penny. I'm not entirely sure. I think that's when I first named him. I took a screenshot. But yeah, you can see the coordinates, you can see how barren the land used to be. That's like where I'm pointing at is where the dome exists today. So yeah, but that's unfortunately the only angle you're gonna get of the house during this iteration. Let's move on to the next one. So yeah, and this is my observatory. I made a mistake with the dome at the top, and I fixed it in survival. Yeah, just a little hut I was trying to experiment with. This is a llama thing, and this is my first time trying to terraform something from scratch. And this is a castle build I'm working on. But let's move on, and this is the church build that I was where I have my nether portal. It's supposed to look something like this. So yeah, over here is the fourth iteration of the house, and I am the proudest of this one. I made the roof higher, as you can see, and then yeah, this became more in line. Now, I never made a proper interior in survival world when I built this, and I do have a screenshot of when I built it. This was me experimenting with like the front half. As you can see over here, I have like these frames. This wasn't done on this one. Obviously everything is temporary, and then I made this. I liked this, but I ended up going with a different style. We'll see it in a screenshot in a sec. And of course, you should have already seen a screenshot of the third iteration. There was only one screenshot with a horse. I made the interior fully on this one in creative. And to be honest, I always say that I'm bad with interiors, but this house alone shows that I'm not. This is supposed to be like where I store my shoes. Do I have anything in these barrels? No. And then over here, this is the hallway. This is, bookshelves, and this, I don't remember being good enough to make this. So yeah, over there is the kitchen. We'll see it in a sec. Over here is a bathroom. We have towels and a bathtub, and then I have a toilet, and then this is supposed to be toilet paper, I think, and then garbage, and then this is a sink, this is a towel, this is yep, and a medical cabinet, and I even used the end rods as neons. And then over here we've got our kitchen. We got an oven overhead, and then a bunch of blast furnaces. I don't know why there would be a composter. I guess it's another trash can. And then over here is the fridge, and this is supposed to be a dishwasher. And yeah, just a couple of sinks. And then over here I got a table, we got a chopping board. These are item frames with items inside of them, but my resource pack makes item frames invisible. Yeah, so this is supposed to be a knife, this is supposed to be a fork, and that's supposed to be a spoon. And then we have some pickles on the table, and then a brewing stand, because it kind of looks like a blender. Now this staircase, I would make it in a different orientation if I was making the house today. I don't remember. I may have said something like that the last time I checked out this house. Yeah. And then here is what's supposed to be like the cozy library. This is the chimney. And then over here is the enchantment setup. I never really continued the whole library thing. I should have. And if I head upstairs, there is no interior up here. Yeah. I could have so made like some kind of storage in here. I could like, split up the rooms, like add a wall here, maybe add a wall here, maybe, I don't know. There are some ideas going through my head, and then if I head into here, I did not do any interior. So yeah, this was the 4th iteration of the house. And then we move on to the 5th iteration of the house after I show you a screenshot of the 4th iteration, one where I get told a lot during this iteration that the house looks like a church. So here it is. This is the screenshot that I was talking about. As you can see, I made like the front part kind of inclined. I added a front porch. I even believe there's like a small hallway between the house and the tower, slightly longer than it was in the creative mode. I am not entirely sure, I have to recheck that. And I believe the windows on the tower were gray and yellow, so yeah, I was proud of that. And of course you can see the pond on the right, and also to the left of the house where the berry farm is today is a little campsite that I had. This is where I kept my horses, and on the right is the original area for the berry farm before it was complete. I actually started designing it in survival mode, so that's interesting. And you can see all of my parrots. Some of them died. I think there's only one parrot left. So yeah, let's move on. I got that so many times. So we move over to the 5th iteration of the house. Ignore what you see over there. That is something secret. You don't know about it. This is the 5th iteration of the house. This is the iteration that you guys saw. This was the very like outlines of the house. This was like very bare, and I never really completed it. I just made the outline and I changed the dimensions a little bit. As you can see, the dome used to be a half circle, not a complete circle, and then I changed that into a complete circle. So yeah, I guess this kind of concludes the evolution, well, as far as my flat world goes. As you can see, I was experimenting with adding age to the world, blending the the gradient. This is not supposed to remain a flat line. Eventually, when I'm done with the house, I'm gonna start blending the gradient, and then I'm gonna add age to it, like adding moss here and then darker spots does make it feel like the bottom is wet, and then, adding these in random spots, and then of course the gravel and then the stairs to make it look like it's cracked. Yeah, but the detailing phase is still, we're a long way away. So yeah, that's that's the flat world part of this tour. Okay, so before we move on, I wanted to take a look at two more screenshots. The first of which is right here on your screen. Now, it is from a creative copy of the world where I did use the /locate feature to find a mesa. And yeah, basically in the screenshot, yeah, chat is open so I could see the coordinates, but you can actually see that the very last iteration that I just showed you guys, which is the one that you guys are very familiar with, I was, as you can see in the screenshot, I began working on it, and I think I only had the bottom floor done, and I had my chest array in a way, just like you saw it in the first episode of my world. So yeah, let's move on to the next screenshot before I show you more live footage of the house from my world backups instead of like a voiceover. Alright, so now we're at a phase where you guys are familiar with. I think this is from episode 3 or 4. This was the roof progress. I think I used this photo for a thumbnail. I don't know if I ended up using it or changing it. I think I still had used it. But basically you can see I built the mansion side. I fixed the paths. There's a path on the right going down to the mine to the piston door. And I moved the the front porch to the side of the house, and I did that. I changed the incline at the front. I added the dome. Yeah, and I think I was experimenting or like trying to figure out how to make the roof and how to like make the tower that was on the left side. So yeah, you guys saw that, and then I decided to make a whole lot of changes. So here they come. Okay, so right now I am in a old copy of my survival world. This is from December, I think, maybe November, I don't know. This is when I started doing the changes to my house. I have a screenshot of this. I will tell you the exact date through the editing of when this iteration was. So now I'm gonna reveal something. A lot of this stuff that I said, and how should I put this? How the house is right now, it's a lot different, but these are like the basic foundations of what you're gonna see at the end of this episode. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, big reveal. Okay, so this is nowhere near final, okay? You see these two towers here? These are way different now. This is way different now. This is nowhere near the same. This is a lot bigger, so is that part at the top, and it's even made of a different material. The clock is bigger right now, and then the flag is, well, a lot higher up. And yes, the Palestinian flag. And I have a name for this place, but I can't tell you the name in this specific form. Now, as you can see, this was like work in progress time. So I made this A pillar because okay, let me explain. So a lot of this stuff was actually inspired by one of the episodes from Supernatural. There was an episode where they visited an old inn, and I'm gonna like post pictures of that house, and it inspired a lot of what I built. And yeah, I was trying to mimic the front part with the entrance. Now I raised this up a lot in the current form of the house, and yeah, but when I built it like this, I was like, this is way too big. Something up here needs to overshadow it, and I built this gigantic thing. I also forgot to mention this giant thing was actually inspired by the mythical sausage. And I think it was episode 13 of his hardcore let's play. He built an ancient villager trading library. A lot of this house, a lot of what I ended up building was actually inspired by him. So yeah, thanks to him for that. And it wasn't even big enough. Well, it's still as tall as it is, but a lot bigger. But I think I'm spawning too much stuff right now. And as you can see, I was still working on this wall. This is where that armored roof was. It was a lot further back from, you know, actually, I think it was over here, maybe? And then I, like, extended this wall out a little bit, tried to move it over, and then I made it more forward, and eventually I extended this wall all the way here. And then I moved this entire dome way over there, and then extended this wall all the way here. You guys are gonna see, you guys are in for a treat. Yeah, I also have zero idea why I made this out of granite. But yeah, if I go inside, so this was still that interior. So this was the interior of the house when I made the episode, when I recorded the episode about the mob spawner farms. Okay? And if I go up here, you can see the scaffolding of dirt that I made all the way up here. And the thing I love about this, think of how high we're going up here. It started to snow, but the part I love the most is you can see the world from up here, just standing. So I absolutely love this about this. So I used to say I wanted to build a watchtower over in this area. That's not gonna happen anymore. There might still be one way over there to be like in the middle of everything that I built on like this hill. I'm not sure. But yeah, let's move on to the next work in progress update. Okay, so this version is way newer than the last one we just looked at. I think this was the house like a few months ago, maybe in February. As you can see this, I added dormer windows to here, and then see these checkered pattern? That's not supposed to be a checkered pattern. So I noticed that a lot of houses have these weird Y patterns. I'll post a picture up on your screen as to what I'm talking about, and I tried to mimic it here and failed miserably. So these were the two towers on the sides that I was talking about, and I made these out of, I just made them on fire because that's cool. And yeah, this was when I decided to move the dome. There's absolutely no dome here, but there is one now in the current survival world. This was wonky, I ended up fixing it, and this is me working on this part of the roof. Yeah, there was still scaffolding, I was still gathering quartz. There was a lot of trips to the nether with quartz, and then these two roofs are not connected in any way. Even now, I'm gonna connect them. And yeah, this is when I made it wider, the old dimensions, you can tell by this. And yeah, big gap here. This back portion, if you remember, it was curvy. The current version of the world doesn't have this curve, and this is a lot further back. I think I haven't fixed this side, but this side's like further back. And then I made this. This is that part, that staircase that was at the back of the dome. I also copied it here. I have an outline for a tower. The tower is kind of semi-built in the world currently as it is. I got rid of the... Okay, I can't talk today. This chimney, I currently got rid of it. It doesn't poke out of the back of the house like it used to. I'm gonna relocate it. I don't know where to. And yeah, this is also another tower outline. So this is actually a placeholder, this cobblestone and stone. I'm actually waiting on 1.21 to come out because I want to use tough bricks down here. So there is a gradient, yeah, and there's this drawbridge, and this is the mansion side, which is now gonna be called the castle side. This was like me making the outline to it, and yeah, it overhangs from here. There's gonna be more terraforming on this side. Unfortunately, this kind of overshadows the waterfall that I did down in the mine. But it also gives me an opportunity to make a drawbridge over here. So yeah, that's coming in the future. And I made these archways. I'm really proud of them. And then this railing is actually inspired by Wells Knight. If you've been watching Hermitcraft Season 10, he made a castle. It is really impressive. So shout out to him. And then this, I moved this somehow. I don't remember how, but yeah, this was different. This wall now aligns with that wall. So yeah, and I believe my horses are down in a pit down here. No, not yet, because the game kept bugging out and unhooking the leads. And also, remember my fancy piston door? It is now buried. And then this was the new mine entrance. This is where the entrance was from the mansion where I went down the stairs. So yeah, it moved way over here. And I actually, what I love about this iteration of the house is if I stand over here, let's see, if you lower your render distance, this actually looks really good with the archways. This is like my proudest thing ever, is the archways. And now as you can see, the berry farm kind of blocks the view of the house, so I might also have to move the berry farm eventually. So let's move on to the next version of the house. In another copy of the world, this time much newer. This is still low, but I added dormer windows here. This part, I still hadn't moved the flag yet. I tried to improve the clock. It looks different from this now. But yeah, I made this. The dome is back. Yeah, what else is new? Nothing is new on here. Just more walls. Oh yeah, the mine. And the towers too. The mine entrance is here. And as you can see, this is the cobblestone part that I was talking about that I want to turn into tough bricks, because the actual cobblestone in this gradient is right here. And this applies to the towers. And here are my horses in a pit that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, they go up all the way up. Although they might go... I might make it so that they actually start around somewhere here. Maybe I want the tower peaks to be in line with this. And yeah, the gray pattern is also up here. So yeah, and why is the flag really low? Because I haven't finished the floor yet. Okay, in this edition I did finish the floor, and I also moved the the interior is different. The staircase is moved. Yeah, I love doing that. And also I built a room. I got hold of concrete powder and I made a switch. And I also, yep, lights turn off and they turn on. And I also organized my storage. There's no more chest monster like there was on the bottom floor. And I put my wither skull on display, which, speaking of which, when I'm done with this house, I'm gonna go fight the wither and get a beacon. I have a really clever name for a beacon, but you won't find out until I actually have got the beacon. And yeah, here are all my cats. And I have a lot of armor displayed on here and the two dragon heads. So yeah, and I also have a balcony. I love looking out here. This might be where I do my intro now, kind of like Stampy Longnose. Okay, so where was I? So let's move on to the interior of the house. Basically, I moved the stairs to the middle. This is what I was talking about in 2 episodes ago, where I said there would be a little like rectangular area at the entrance, and there would be a big hallway with the staircase, and then another rectangle at the back with the back door. These dirt blocks are obviously placeholders for walls, and these gaps are placeholders for doors. Yeah. And this is a nice cozy interior. This is where I eventually will have my kitchen. And of course, my furnace array is still here, and then yeah, this is like the old dimensions of the house. This is where a wall used to be, and then there would be like a curve here, if you remember that. And yeah, the basement is basically exactly the same. But that's about it for the bottom floor. Let's move on to what it is currently, which is our final version of the house. Well, not final, but where we are at progress-wise. Okay, so we are back in the main version of the world and survival, and we are in the basement. Now, I want to point out that this world does no longer have achievements, because I want to allow a few behavior packs that have to do with mob grief and the wandering trader spawning. It no longer spawns in this world. It no longer will annoy me. However, in terms of achievements, I'm actually waiting on hardcore mode to get to Minecraft Bedrock. I'm gonna be starting a 100 days series, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, here we are. The furnaces have been moved over there. There's more wall outlining, not final, obviously. And if I go over here, this is what I said when I got rid of the curve that was at the back of the house, and I didn't finish this side. So that is coming up. And I do want some kind of staircase that's also on this side of the house as well, and there's no hallway that goes to the dome on the bottom floor, not even over there to the castle side. I got rid of that completely. And yeah, this pond, by the way, if you're wondering, this is when I was making more mud bricks. So yeah, and this is a little different. Ignore all the birch trees. As you can see, this is much higher. It's more in line with that. I've added a little bit more detail and rounded off the corners, and this now only like has the diagonal part to here, and then it goes straight, which is more in line with how it is in Supernatural. And then there's I have not filled in this wall yet, and if I take a step back, you guys will see the changes to the clock and two new tiny Palestinian flags. And I thought I moved the flag again, but I guess I did not. And if I move over to the back, oh yeah, I added two rounded pieces to the castle and fences for the door. So yeah, I did check a few images online of drawbridges, and some castles did have this fence kind of gate that goes up and down. behind the drawbridge. So yeah. Also, by the way, this mine entrance thing is supposed to resemble the level 1 gem mine from Clash of Clans. And this is kind of why I made the item frames invisible. And yeah, this is that torch that's next to it. And over here, we've got the beginnings of a wall. This wall, so it's gonna extend out this much, and then it's gonna have like an archway, and it's gonna have archways all the way until the edge of this land, where I'm gonna have a walkway. And so, you know how I said my house was more like a castle? I think I said that in a previous episode. And by the way, I don't know if I showed this side, I also made that same archway with the railings over here that goes to the dome. The dome interior is a work in progress. If I jump up here, the floor isn't completely filled in yet, and yeah, I'm gonna have a walkway around here at the top. So yeah, let's head to the front. This is that part fixed. I don't know if I showed it. And I also don't remember if I showcased the flags that I have outside here. Adds a little bit more detail, and there's a little bit more depth on this part. So yeah, I guess that's it. One final thing before I finish. I haven't told you the name of this place. I was saying this thing, I said it's more like a castle. Well, it's less like a castle, it's more like a palace. And this block right here is mud bricks. And what is mud in Arabic? It is clean. So, big reveal for the name of this place. I call this place Palace Clean. Get it? The palace made out of mud. It makes sense. I don't think I've ever given something a name. I don't think I will ever give something a name that will top this name. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. In the next episode, I'm gonna be working on the tower tops. So yeah, but if you enjoyed, leave a like, hit subscribe for the channel, leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know, share this video around with your friends, let them know what's up. And yeah, until next time, this has been G, signing out. Peace.